Somebody, but show.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, all the people of the congregation. It is the Sunday Rise. We are the Sideline Junkies. We are here to entertain you. At the end of the show, we will ask you, are you not entertained? It is the Midnight Rider. It is the Gentleman Jack. It's the Sunday Rise. What we're going to do this morning, we're going to take you through the sports world. We're going to talk a little basketball. We're going to talk a little bit of the MLB. We're going to talk a little bit about the NFL draft because we're doing the crazy KG reverse mock draft that he wanted us to do. We're going to ask you what you're eating today. And then we're going to say we don't do no overtime and we out, even though we're going to do an hour and some odd minutes of show.
Me and you keep it all right. But when we got all four of us, it's a lot of mouths to feed. But
yes, sir. People got to eat, baby.
I enjoyed either way.
Yes, sir. How you doing this morning, man?
I'm doing well, Midnight Rider. Is my audio sounding okay to you?
Yeah, you're fine, man. I'm picking you up clean, brother.
Good. Crystal clear.
Hold on 1 second. Let me pull this out. Bam. Show name. So we had some interesting things going on this week. Even before I get started, I want to send a personal. I got a personal person to remember. I found out yesterday morning, one of my mom's brothers, my uncle Cecil Carter, passed away at the age of 64. So all my family down in Central Virginia, down in Gretna, prayers and thoughts are with you, condolences and everything. Just don't forget to let us know when everything's going to happen. And I got to make arrangements a way to get down there for that.
Yeah. God bless Uncle Cecil and the rest of the family and you as well, Midnight Rider. Sorry for your loss, my man. My condolences.
So now let's get started with the show. The first piece of business, we're not going to go too far into this, but the Memphis Grizzlies, who are now, I think, currently sitting in 5th or 6th place in the NBA Western Conference, has decided to fire their coach. The team went from 3rd in the division or in the conference to now they're sitting at 5th or 6th. So with that being said, any thoughts on what happened, if you even know what happened? Because a whole lot hasn't come out.
Well, there's been a lot of turmoil around that team for the past couple years.
Yes, sir.
Brought on by John Morant. And he seems to be walking a tight line now, Mr. Morant does. But what happened to the coach? There was a sudden decline. And then, the Lakers were hot for a minute there. That bumped Memphis down a few spots, but I don't understand it. It puzzled me when I saw it. I was like, it's got to be something internal that did this, because just dropping from 3rd to 5th in the division, yeah, it sucks, but you're still in the middle of the pack. So I don't know why. I can't understand it. What do you think?
You hit it right in the head, man. I think it's something from a standpoint of what he's either trying to say or his message is falling flat. That's why you fire a coach this late in the season and all you do is hire his assistant. Of course, you can only do that because we're so far into the season that you can't do a legitimate coach search. But with that being said,
they're one of the best defensive teams in the league too. But I think they got some injuries too as well. So,
and then I thought you was about to say it, but I think the other part of the problem is they're such a good defensive team that their struggle is offense. And there's something with their offense and the way it's set up that they don't. That's not jiving with the rest of the team.
I agree.
Before I go any further, I have to acknowledge a man that just came in the room, Boss Man B. Good morning, sir. How you doing? How you feeling?
Fellas, good morning. How are y'all?
Good, man.
Hey, Big
Good.
J. Good.
Good.
Midnight Rider, I noticed the offense is down there. I mean, John Morant might be averaging 18. I mean, he's not a high 20s average anymore like he was. He used to be the whole offense for that squad. They got Desmond Bain over there too, don't they?
Yes, sir. And I was about to say,
Bain's taking on a lot of the offense too.
right.
Now.
And he did that when Ja was out, he became a more integral part in the offense, and that's
And has
continued.
continued.
Yeah,
Yep.
now he's got a little bit more confidence. They definitely rank on the all annoying team. You got Ja Morant, Desmond Bain,
Rudy.
What's the dude? Brooks, Dylan Brooks, the annoying dude that used to be in Houston.
Yeah, don't they got Rudy?
Rudy who?
Rudy Gobert.
Now Gobert is in Minnesota.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I
the
get
only
them
big
two
man that
mixed
can't
up.
even post up a point guard. With that being said, let's see what we got getting started from the early mornings. Greetings from everybody else. Matty Ice jumped in. Good morning, back home from DC.
Oh man, I remembered, then I forgot, then I remembered, man. We should have hooked up with Maddie while he was in town.
Well, I had to
Sorry,
work
buddy.
this weekend, and then I had like a last minute thing where I was like, "Oh, he's going to the Nats game," and then my mind was like, "Yeah, we can go." My body was like, "No, we're not. We're going to make this left and not that right." And I made the left and came home, ordered DoorDash, and it was over, baby. I read they didn't like the new approach by the assistant coach, so why fire the head coach JoJo if they don't like the assistant coach?
Yeah.
They losing to the best teams. Well, I mean, you kind of right there in the middle. So it looked like they feasted early on the bad teams. And now it's coming to fruition or whatever that they're struggling. J Dub, good morning, fellas. Good morning, J Dub.
Hey, Jack.
And JoJo says the new offense took away the pick and rolls and dribble handles, and he lost the locker room. I'm reading an ESPN article. Oh, that's an easy way to lose a team is you change the offense from what they was doing and what they liked. And A Boom Antonio says Ja needs a solid mid-range game for longevity's sake. But you know, Boom, we said the same thing about D Wade, and it happened. It happened naturally. You know, some guys, if they get it, they understand where you got to be. Because D Wade was always falling on the ground early in his career. If he played 82 games, he probably fell 164 times in 82 games because he at least fell twice a game. So that's interesting. But
John's mid-range game ain't that bad. I mean, he's not SGA or nothing. I think SGA is the best mid-range in the league.
I will concur with that.
I mean, he can hit off that elbow money, either side of the elbows, money. And his when he's driving to the hole and he does that stop drop back, that fall away always drops, man. I like watching him play.
No, we got a JoJo Bomb. She says that they let go of everyone, not just the coach. So we got to get our team to scramble and, just confirm all that. Let's see. J Dub says Ja has lost his edge, saying he don't want to dunk no more. He needs that aggressiveness. Well, he said he doesn't want to dunk anymore, and then he went out the next night and had 3 dunks. So
ripped the rim off, right?
Yeah. And then JoJo comes back. He hired the new assistant coaches, so he's gone with them. Okay. Well, just keep giving us information on this, Joe, because we don't have all the details. I just saw it, and I just thought it was weird that a team would fire a coach this late in the season.
In a decent position, if you're on the bottom of the list, I'd understand.
Anybody got anything else on this before we get out of this topic? All right. So next up, we're going to talk NCAA Final Four. I know all brackets are busted and broken down. those people that had chalk for the Final Four are still in good shape. Last night we were treated to a couple of good ball games, men and women. On the men's side, we had Texas Tech and Florida battle. I thought Texas Tech had the ball game in hand because I actually stepped out for a minute and came back in with about 10 minutes left in the fourth. And then I kept turning away because every time I turn away and come back, Florida would make a run. So I think I got Florida in one of my brackets. So not to mess up my bracket, I kept deciding to go away from the game and come back to it. Any thoughts on? Well, I'm sorry. Let me also mention that Jack Duke Blue Devils.
We can talk about that after I talk about this.
Okay, go ahead.
No, it was the Will Clayton JT Toppin show in that Florida Texas Tech game, man. Florida, a lot of big guys flying around, but Texas Tech just couldn't hold that lead they needed. And like I say, they put in a hell of a performance before that in the Sweet 16 when they came back from 16 down. So, no, hats off to Texas Tech regardless. They put in a hell of a season. So that was a fun game to watch. And like I say, to watch Will Clayton and what is it, JT Toppin, JP Toppin, they were just battling, man. I think they both had 30, if I recall. Let me see. No, 20, and the other had 30. So Toppin had 20. And what's the name had 30. So that was a great game. I liked it. And then you bring up this Duke Alabama matchup, in which I was terrified about. Did you catch a little bit of that?
A little bit of it. But I knew it was going to be a barn burner. But I thought Duke had the better athletes and the more consistent ones. If you can take, I think his name is Sears for Alabama. If you can get him kind of out of rhythm, he's kind of the key that stirs the drink, or the straw that stirs the drink is a better term. And the other thing about him is, it's almost like they always say, to kill a snake, you got to take off the head of the snake. And I think he's the head of the snake. And if you can get him crippled, and I saw that when I watched them play Auburn. Auburn kind of held him in check. So that's what I saw there.
Okay.
B. Hold up. Let's get B.
I ain't got too much to add to that, fellas. I'm looking at the bracket. My resources are maxed out right now, and I have to go to our bracket. So we picked on the but I think I have Duke, Florida, and at least Houston in the Final Four. I can't remember who else I put in there. But I think I have Duke, Florida, and Houston in the Final Four. I got Houston winning it all. I can't double check right now because I'm already glitching on this. But I gotta check that, man. I gotta start making some money off these picks, man. This is, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking, I'm like, hold on, I done picked all of this.
Oh, Lord.
Let me see where you are. Hold on, B. I got you.
What they say, Midnight Rider, scared money never
Don't
wins.
take none. Scared money,
Hey,
don't take none.
hey, I have the same problem Midnight Rider have. I remember to do it and then I'll forget to do it, or later on it'd be like, nah, I'm gonna make this left and I'm gonna go home. I'm going straight to do it. Hey,
All right, B.
last week I was sick all week. I'm still recovering. There's always something, you know. And then
I got you.
I got pastors copying what we do on the sideline junkies, locking the doors of the congregation, closing the doors on people. You know, I got to file copyright infringement on thing. I mean, the boss is busy, man. I got, you know what I'm saying?
Getting the money, the kind of jangles and the kind of folds. I know
That's
what you doing.
that's what I mean. That's what it is. You know, lock them doors.
Yes, sir.
So
Well,
you
let
have
me.
Michigan, Florida, Duke, and Houston as your Final Four.
It was Michigan, not Michigan State.
It was Michigan, yes, sir.
Okay.
That'd been nice if you picked them all. That'd been nice.
I knew it was. I couldn't remember if it was because I had Michigan State playing each other, and I thought Michigan was rolling, and I thought they would get it. But it's all good. 3 out of the 4 ain't bad.
Yeah.
So right
one of my
now,
polls, I got Houston winning, and one of them I got Duke winning it.
Okay.
well, you didn't put either one of them in our bracket.
What I put in your bracket? The St. John's one?
You put the Alabama one in here somehow.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, I got like 5 of them.
So you have Michigan State, Maryland, Alabama, and Tennessee in this bracket on our ESPN bracket pick.
In the
The
final
highest
four?
rated one?
Huh?
The highest rated one?
You fell down to 5th.
So go down to the lower one. That's the one I think I got, Auburn or Houston or somebody.
Yeah, see, in Bayes Blitz, the second one you got Michigan State, St. John's, Duke, and Clemson in that one.
With Duke winning it.
Yes, with Duke winning.
Yeah.
But you're so far down.
I know.
Duke winning, your max points is 5. And that one, your maximum points is 620. And so that's not going to get you anywhere close.
Yep.
Actually, no, I'm sorry. That's going to get you at 1340.
If Duke wins, I should get near.
Yeah, you'll get near the top.
You
So
got to have it out of the 4.
So the way the standings go right now, it's some guy named B. Conti with a bracket called Southeast Finals with 930 points. His champion is Auburn. His final 4 is Auburn, Florida, Duke, and Houston. So he's got two in the final 4. If he goes 4 for 4, it could be trouble. But I think he's tied with Xavier. I think that's how I'm supposed to pronounce that. He's got Auburn, Florida, Duke, and Houston. So the only way, and we don't have a tiebreaker in this, unless we got the only tiebreaker is our score. So Xavier and myself, if it plays out the way we have it, it's gonna come down to the final score in the final game. And then in third place, we got Boss Man. 4th is Maddie. Actually, this is our picks that we did as a group.
Oh, really?
So as a group, we have Michigan State, St. John's, Duke, and Houston.
Didn't do bad.
Houston and this is where it falls apart. Houston and St. John's was our final 2.
Oh.
And St. John's was our winner.
Gotcha.
So that's where we get screwed up on that.
Yeah, of course, nobody voted Duke to win it with me. But let me get back to that Duke game for a moment. The final score was 85-65, but that's not the way the game played out. Duke pulled away with 8 minutes left. It was back and forth battle for a while. I mean, Duke was up early, then Alabama came back. But see, you had great numbers for everybody at Duke, man. Malawach had 14 points, 9 rebounds. Who knows how many block shots the man had? He altered so many shots yesterday. Coop did Coop things, 16 points, 9 rebounds. He had several blocks. Reese was on fire from 3-point. Tyrese Proctor, 17 and 5 for him. Con Canuple, he had 21 and 5. He was a big part of the runaway from Alabama in the final 8 minutes. Canuple and Flag were just going off. And then Sion James, young man, coming off the bench with 9 points and 7 rebounds. Duke's defense won this game by far. You look at Alabama's stats. Duke shut down Sears. Shut him down. He's one of the highest scoring players in the country. Alabama is one of the highest scoring teams in the country. They hit over 100 10 times this year, including the last game in the Sweet 16. So Sears had 31 minutes, 2 for 12 field goals, 1 for 5 from 3, 5 turnovers. Shit, he even only had 1 for 3 from the foul line. He had 0 rebounds. The kid Fallon led them with 16. The team only shot 35%, and they were 8 for 32 from 3. What made Alabama's threes be so not dropping? They had to shoot them from further away. Duke's defense expanded so wide yesterday that they couldn't get a good shot from 3. The only time you see them making threes is when the feet were near the line. If Duke made them shoot from 4 feet behind the line, which they had to do because shot clocks, from the defense, it was a great defensive game.
So they were shooting grenades. That's what I call it.
Bombs. Building
Well,
houses
that's
up there.
the one way to look at it. But whenever you pull the pin, you only got so many seconds before you got to throw that grenade. That's what I call grenade shots. Is you get somebody dribbles the clock down, and then they pass you the ball last second, and you ain't got nothing to do with it but to shoot it.
Mm-hmm. That's the way the defense was swarming yesterday. You've seen a lot of, especially early in the game, a lot of Alabama's shots were at the end of the shot clock, and a lot of their threes were by far further away, not the everyday three-pointer that, they as you say, they disrupted Arizona's offense to the max. So I thought it was a great win. And, not to pat Moan back. If Duke continues to play like this, none of them teams can touch them. And I respect the hell out of Houston and Auburn. I really do. Them two squads are tough. But I was scared of Alabama. And look what, if we can put that defensive effort against anyone left in this tournament, we'll be raising some hardware.
I think if Duke plays, and I'm going to be a sports person, not a fan. If Duke plays like Houston, I think that would be one hell of a defensive game. But Duke would be too explosive for them offensively.
Or Florida.
Florida and Duke, I think the difference would be Florida got some guns to at least try to fight them. It would be like Alabama. They got a fighting chance. They got a puncher's chance in that ball game. That's how I see that.
They do, because Florida can play the inside-out game. Florida's got the shooters, too, and the big men. Florida can put, like I say, 2, 3, 7-footers in their lineup at any time if they want. And Duke has done that a couple times this year. They got 2 7-footers they can pair up with Malawach and Okanga, I think is his name. Mm-hmm. But there's going to be there's a lot of nice matchups to look at, because a Florida Duke game would be nice. A Houston Duke game would be tight. And it's definitely the best teams left right now, man.
For sure.
Texas Tech wasn't no suckers. And I put them right up there with the best of the best. I've been liking Texas Tech all year.
While we here, boss, you got it. You got us, boss man?
Yeah, I'm here with y'all. No, I don't have anything to add. What were you about to move to?
No, I was about to talk about the games that's happening today. The Michigan State game and what's the other game that's today? I just lost my train of thought.
No. I'm trying to.
Oh, Houston play today?
Is it Houston, Tennessee?
Yep, Houston, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And Auburn, Michigan.
Yes, there we go. I'm sorry, I had a brain fart because I moved.
Let's talk about those games. I want to get
Auburn State, right? Auburn, Michigan State.
Yeah, yes. Michigan State. You're right, Jack. You're right. I wanted to get you guys take on Kevin Willard and the Terps.
Okay.
All right. So here's my biggest take on this. I think Maryland fans are upset with Willard because Maryland fans have this delusion that they're a top 10 program. I don't think they are. They're not a blue blood. You haven't been in the Sweet 16 until now. It's been like 10 years. So you don't have this royalty. Do you have the accommodations to be a top 10 program? Yes. You have the ability to be that if you invest money in the program, 1. 2, if you recruit your backyard and you recruit it successfully, yes, I can see them being a top 5 program. But the problem is you have the thought, but you don't have the application. You know what I'm saying? So that's why this dude is leaving. And the reason people are mad is because now it makes them almost as if they're a stepping stone school. Like, oh, I can go to Maryland and then get a better job. And that's why the alumni is all up in the bunch, is because they're being force-fed a reality that they are not ready to accept.
And
isn't as good or in the shape that you think it is. And all Willard did was tell the world how bad you were. Because you didn't stay that extra night in New York, because you didn't do these things, because you're back in a football program at a rate and you're not giving him the resources to make it the program he wants it to be. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, and we talked about this a little bit the other day, and we both disagreed a little bit. We disagreed and agreed.
Right.
I disagree on the calling the Maryland a football school. they can be a basketball school and used to be a basketball school. It's just the way of the world now. It's the lay of the land. Cats see a bigger opportunity over there, they gone. And most of the time, they bring players with them too. So who knows who's going to leave and go to Villanova if he gets that job. Maryland needs some stability in their sports front office, I guess, where you got ADs and all that, because they can't seem to get the right person in that seat, man. For some time now, they've been trying to.
And you said this, I think it was Thursday night, when we were in deep conversation about this. The struggle for Maryland is, of course, the ADs have been fighting the coaches, whether it's basketball, football, or whatever. They're just keep putting up fights, and they're holding back the program itself. Whether it's Debbie Yao and her getting rid of Fridge, and losing Franklin. Like, they lost Franklin and then fired Fridge. It didn't make sense. Yeah. If you were going to, if anything, you put Franklin in place, replace Fridge that way. But
then it'd be big game James here, huh?
Yeah.
Can't win the big game.
Yeah.
But no, I like James Franklin as a coach. And I didn't understand why they let him just lead like that. But they let everybody lead.
Before I want to kind of pivot back a little bit because the comments are a little bit behind us, because we let them accrue a little bit. So Boone says Tennessee. J-Dub asked us, who did Memphis replace the coach with? J-Dub, give us a couple minutes. We're trying to find that out for you right now as we speak. Let's see. J-Dub says the best teams are definitely in the Final Four. Totally agree.
No doubt.
Matty Ice saw basketball yesterday. Metro was a hot mess. Matt, it's that time of year where people came into town, just like you, to see the what are they called? What's them plants around
the cherry
blossoms?
Yeah, the cherry blossoms.
They had the traffic cameras looking at a live picture. It looked like a drawing. That's how bad the traffic was. Nothing was moving around the tidal basin area at a certain point. It looked like a drawing you would hang up in your bedroom of DC in the tidal basin with cars not moving.
But you know what? With us being guys that live here in the DMV, and you get folks come from out of town, they want to go to DC, they want to see a museum, they want to go to the cherry blossoms. We kind of take some of that stuff for granted. Going down to the basin, and I used to always say, "Oh, cherry blossoms, seen them once, seen them good," But it's chill, man. We used to go down there when my daughter was young and just have a picnic. Bring, a little cooler with some snacks and throw a blanket down, take a nap. It was just so beautiful down there with all those little white leaves blowing around, cherry blossoms, whatever petals you want to call them. I'm not a florist like the Midnight Rider, so I don't know all the terms.
I think the issue is, and if Metro is running like it's supposed to run, no track work, no this, that, and the other, it's smooth sailing. Yeah. You don't have to worry about parking. You got a train pulling up every couple of minutes, from the time it starts in the morning. They know the deal. They've been around. It's just once something goes down, and this isn't sports related, but this is the unfortunate reality of only having a 2-track system and not having what New York has. Right. We have multiple lanes and multiple tracks. If a train goes down, if a passenger, and this is somebody who used to be a train operator, if a train goes down, if a door gets stuck, now it's chaos, and that takes a couple of hours to kind of, especially when it's busy like that, to kind of make it back up, if that makes sense. And once you go down on one,
once the train jumps off the track, and you got to pick it up.
Pick it up.
Back on the seat.
I knew somebody was going to go there. But
But
nah, the parking down
it
there is
really
pretty vicious,
it
especially on prime
yeah.
cherry blossom time. You know, I don't know when that is, but
This weekend.
my sister works down there at either the Treasury building or the Mint. I can't remember because she's worked at both. And she used to tell us where to park. You know, go down here, make a left, and then make a right. A little cutty right there. You know, we'd always find some decent parking, but it is hard to find.
Yeah. I think if you park down there, you got to be willing to walk
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
a good deal and a good distance from where you're parking at. And I'm talking about, on the edges of Southwest parking, and walking up. But
woo!
yeah.
That's
I
a
mean,
marathon.
yeah, it is. It's one of them things you got to pack accordingly. You got to
Well,
have
some
your,
people
like
get
you say,
there
you got to have
early.
your snacks and your drinks, and if you're willing to commit to it, it can be a great experience.
Yeah. No, you got to take the snacks and the drinks if you can because them street guys, they going to break you
Oh,
off.
$10 bottle water.
They
Well,
do.
the good thing is now you got so many of the food trucks out there that
Oh,
Ah,
the food trucks kind of, if they bring the, how I want to say this, like they make the guys on the streets a little more
mhm.
reasonable because they can't say $10 for a bottle of water when you go to the food truck and it's $2 or whatever it is. So
well,
that's
let
kind
me.
Yeah.
of what brought sanity to that setup.
Well, let
But
me.
as an old Uber driver, the thing I used to hate about the cherry blossoms is people will stop in the middle of the road to take pictures and act like nothing's wrong.
Nothing's wrong.
Nothing's
Like
wrong
like
with
like
it.
you're
Get to the
supposed
Capitol.
to, like you just went from 25 to stopped, and ain't nobody supposed to honk their horn at you. Ain't nobody supposed to hit your car because they supposed to know you looking at the cherry blossoms. That used to be the one thing that used to always kill me.
And
And
the,
go ahead.
I'm about to say the crazy thing is you do an Uber with your passengers, they're mad at you because it's taking 40 minutes to go 4 blocks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like are you looking at the same amount of foot traffic I'm looking at? We've been sitting at the same light for 15 minutes and we haven't moved, and you're
Yeah.
wondering why it's taking so long. You know what's going on today?
Like it's crazy. And the bad part about it is not to get caught up in my Uber chronicles, as I used to call it.
We
But
need a show we need a show just for that.
yo, um, I'll never forget it. It's just like it's the people that live in the city that don't understand that people can come into town to look at the cherry blossoms. And I had a person in my car one time. I was like, yo, dog, you know what's going on this weekend? I was like, people are coming to watch the cherry blossom. Cherry blossoms. Why would somebody do that? And I'm like, well, it looks like if you look around us, there's about a couple thousand people that want to see these cherry blossoms.
Been going on long as I can remember.
If you
Yo, it's the
use
craziest part of
Since
the
they
city.
since who gave China give them to us?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Not
think
gave
so.
them to us yet when we was little.
Yep.
When we was little.
Well, when I was little anyway.
Yeah, I'm about to say, hold on a second. I was real little.
But it's a major event. It's pretty much a national event, man. So there's folks that come from all over, near and far, man, to see that. And I used to always trip and be like, oh, cherry blossom, whatever. But it is a good family atmosphere. It's good if you can. Me, I'm not big on super crowds up on me and stuff, but there's a lot of people.
No, when the metro gets packed, boy, oof, that's an ugly day. But let me
Yeah,
kind of go back to a little sports.
let's get
And
back
a
on
little
some
cherry
sports.
blossom.
Fellas done
I
fell
got the
asleep on us.
the lead assistant for Memphis. I don't. I'm gonna mess this name up. Tomas Isolo is
Oh
serving as
yes,
an interim head coach.
yes,
Hmm.
yes. I
Okay.
think he was like a coach overseas, like in Lithuania or one of those places.
It says head coach of Paris basketball, winning the Euro Cup and being named coach of the year.
Okay, yeah, I knew it was something overseas. Yeah.
Tomas.
Let's see some comments. I think this is Maddie. He said if Duke plays like this, they'll be very tough to beat. Boone says y'all talking like Houston going to beat Tennessee. They barely won their last game. In the Power
Oh,
Five,
Tennessee
Maddie.
tough.
Maddie says in the Power Five, the Maryland, NC State, and mid of the Power Five can't compete with the top of the Power Five, but their fan bases think they are. So this is preaching to the choir, preaching to
Can
the
I
choir.
and I wanted to say something as a
Go ahead.
Maryland fan. I think the program is a top 40 program. I think it's a top 40 program. I think the frustration lies where this could be a blue blood school, but you can't get the commitment from either the AD or the coach to take it. This is a basketball school, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know who somebody said earlier saying it. Somebody said it was a football school. It's nowhere near that. It's a basketball school, even on its down years, even when Maryland is in the NIT or has a bad year. This is still a basketball school. Um, did
Can I
Kevin
talk
Willard?
back to you on that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So no, so I think the reason people want to try to get it to be a football school is because football is the revenue. Like if you can get into whether it's the playoffs or the Big Ten championship games, the money that comes back from that eclipses a lot of what basketball does. So I think that's why schools try to make themselves football schools, even though sometimes they're really a basketball school at their heart and at their
And
truest point.
I think if Maryland thinks that way, you become more of a football powerhouse if you're in the Elite Eight and the Final Four every year at basketball. Your name is in the same conversation with Duke, with Michigan State, with Michigan. Then you can say Maryland. You know what I'm saying? That
Right.
you get more kids to come when you're on a national stage more. And right now, you have an opportunity and you just kind of dropped it with this whole Kevin Willard thing. And he aired out some things that some issues and stuff. But like this could have been really built on, this Sweet 16 run. You have a coach, you had somebody that was pulling the talent from Baltimore, and now you just lost all of that. You have to start from square one. I just think that this program is teetering, could be a blue blood, but they just don't have the commitment. The AD and the coach not seeing eye to eye continuously. It doesn't matter who it is. It's I don't know what they're gonna do. They have to figure this out, man, because I think they're really dropping the ball when it comes to an opportunity to be a really, really top 20, top 15 basketball program on a consistent basis.
And I pulled this comment for a reason. It's not the next comment, but it it takes me to keeps us in the conversation that we're having. So Boone says Maryland should have stayed in the ACC. They went to the Big Ten for football and money.
And we had this
Um,
conversation before.
I'm gonna say it this way for me. I disagree with this statement wholeheartedly. I think Maryland. The one thing that their ads got right was because they were at the forefront of moving out of a conference to a bigger conference. Because now, if you look in hindsight, everybody's doing what Maryland did now. You got schools like Stanford, Cal entering into other conferences. You got USC and UCLA going to the Big Ten. Maryland was at the forefront of that. That's the one thing their ads got right. The conference money for TV. If you look at the Big Ten's money compared to the ACC, it's not even close. And that's why that move happened. The only problem for Maryland is somehow they got put in the one. Somehow there's a conference, or it used to be a side of the bracket in the Big Ten that had Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State, and that's how Maryland ends their season. Like that's ludicrous. Because
It's
ain't
it's
nothing. What's on the other side? On the other side is like Purdue, Northwestern, Iowa. Like, what are we doing here?
it's ludicrous, but I said this before. If you want to beat the big dogs, you got to learn how to play with the big dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Maryland and the ACC football, where they were at, they were always going to get killed by Miami and Florida State.
Right.
It was never a point where those even the better teams with Fridge couldn't even hold the jock straps of those teams. So you move, and I said this before, you move to the Big Ten. Now you have a
Ah,
bet. Go ahead, Jack. What's
I
wrong?
disagree with that. I mean, they went to the Orange Bowl and beat Tennessee. They did another bowl game and won. I mean,
But look at
Tennessee,
the gap.
but the Orange Bowl, that was a prestigious bowl.
It is a prestigious bowl, but if you look at the cream of the crop in the ACC, while Fridge was, there's that it goes from
When Fridge was there, they had a halfway decent success against the blue chips.
I don't know.
I wouldn't say they dominated, but they didn't. I
I
mean,
I, I remember 50 burgers at home. You
Yeah, I
know,
think
that's
the
when
way the program is set up. I used to say this all the time: is if an AD will allow you to be honest, Maryland's a school that they can be 6-6 every year, right? If they get the right quarterback, they can flirt with 9 and 10 wins.
yes, absolutely.
But if you look, even if you look at the Fridge years and the years, like they were so erratic. Yes, you got to the Orange Bowl, but the Orange Bowl was like what 20 years ago. Like that
Yeah,
team, that's whatever it is, 20, 22 years ago, whatever
man,
it
I was
was.
just talking about the Phrygian era, basically, not just the whole Maryland program. I'm saying back then, I thought they hung pretty well. And the 50 burgers, I think, came when they came to the Big Ten because Ohio State and Michigan was
nah,
hanging 50 dogs on them.
the
They got
fifth.
them in the ACC too.
I remember. Y'all don't remember that the Lamont Jordan
Yes,
crying on the Washington Post. They used to annually
Yeah.
get smashed by whoever was playing. Was either Florida State, Miami. I'm trying to remember who else. Clemson.
yes,
Yeah, that was an annual bloodbath for the Terps. That was one of the. It's a measuring stick because you want to see. All right, is this going to be 50-20 or 50-40 this year? You know you're going to lose, but you want to see where they are. And it was annually 50-20. You know, it was annually them getting not even they shouldn't even been on the field with these teams. They were losing so bad at a point. So and I don't want to stay on this too long, but you go to the Big Ten, now you have teams, you have a better band of football throughout. It's not just 4 or 5 teams, and then it's a huge and it wasn't just Maryland in the ACC that it was a cliff of drop off of talent once you
right.
left Miami and Florida State. It's a huge cliff, right? But now you go to I mean, we had Michigan State. What was that? 10 years ago. I don't know but they just won a Big Ten title in football. So you have a better band of football. You don't have too many cupcakes in there. So. And I said this before. You were hoping when they made that switch 3 or 4 years into it, you start getting players that compete with Big Ten football, and they're just not quite there. I thought they were hoping that Tungo Vailoa was a better quarterback than what he was, and
Right.
that's what Midnight Rider was talking. That's where you could have got your 9 wins, but he just wasn't. They were hoping he was some resemblance of his brother, but he just wasn't that, and he broke records because he threw in bulk.
And he threw in a school that doesn't have great quarterbacks. I mean, we
Exactly.
talking about Scott Zolak and I mean, outside of Boomer Esiason,
Yeah,
there isn't
Boomer.
really a Maryland quarterback of note that like has had a pro career.
Yeah, and I think the only other one was Frank Wright that led the comeback,
Right,
but that's
right,
not a
right.
career. That's just a moment in time, But yeah, I agree. I don't want to stay too long in this because I know we gotta
No, we
move
good
on.
because we got a light lineup, so we can stick around and talk a little bit because I'm gonna get to Maddie's comment and everybody. There's some comments before I'm gonna get to your comments, but
Yeah.
I want to try to keep us in topic right now.
Just
So
one
Maddie
thing
I
to
said,
finish. Let me one thing to finish that Maryland discussion. I knew that Phrygian had heavy success when he first got there. Went to 3 prestigious bowls in a row with the orange, the peach, and the gator. Yeah, had a down year, another down year, then went back up to 9-4. I mean,
right, and
that's football school.
his quarterbacks were like O'Brien. Like he had good quarterbacks during that stretch. Because I remember during that stretch, the savior was supposed to be Jordan Steffi. I apologize, BJ.
Yeah, and the savior ended up
Not me.
being who you just said. Lamont Jordan was one of the best running backs Maryland's had in some time. He was nice.
But I think Maddie's comment kind of gives us both levels on this. Very few schools have learned how to compete in basketball without football money. The UConn and Dukes and Villanovas are the exceptions, not the rule.
What are you talking about, man? Duke's a football school now.
So if I don't know how much you guys know, but right now we're at a point right now where they're starting to divvy out money in programs for NIL. And the football schools, of course, the football programs get the bulk of it. So where Villanova and UConn can, because Villanova's program is a D2 football school, so they're not putting NIL money into their football program.
Mm-hmm.
So the basketball team gets a bulk of that NIL. So that's where Willard actually comes out smart. This is a smart basketball decision.
I want to throw this out there. This is a 2010 Maryland football schedule. They were 5-3 in the conference, 9-4 overall. This is where
I got the same.
they this is where Byron Friedgen hurt because he was getting there. They lost to West Virginia 31-17. I'm just going to losses. They lost at Clemson 31-7. They lost at Miami 26-20. And then they lost at home to Florida State 30-16. Now, years before these scores it was a wider gap, and you could see Fridge closing the gap, but they still didn't have the talent to compete with these particular teams. But this is what you want to see when you're losing. You don't want to see 51-7. You want to see some type of gap. You want to see where, okay, you can see where the talent's coming in. And I think this is where Jack always say, and Midnight Rider says, this is where this program was kind of turning its leaf, and then you fire Fridge. And then you got to start all the way back over. And that's where, where that hurt Maryland at, with the football side.
The year they fired him, he was coach of the year in the ACC.
Yeah, that's this season, the 2010 season. Yep.
That's what cracked me up the most. Ralph Friedgen wins ACC coach of the year. Blah, 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 blah. Then the next thing that comes through the wire, a few days later, Coach Friedgen let go from University of Maryland football. It was crazy. He went to Rutgers after that. Was the OC at Rutgers.
I think if I remember that situation correctly, they were trying to save face for Franklin, but I think Franklin either left the year before or the same year. And that's where they messed up. The mess up was, and they did this also at Virginia Tech had this problem also, because when Virginia Tech let what is their coach's name? Because his son coaches at South Carolina.
Can't help you.
Yeah, you know who Virginia Tech's football coach is.
Oh, Beamer?
Yeah, Beamer.
He's not there no more.
No, listen to what I'm saying.
Oh,
they were trying to get a succession program with Beamer, and they had an assistant that was a defensive coordinator, and that got all messed up and everything. And that's their problem, is like some of these schools, you have these coaches that have these legacies, and trying to get out of that coach and into something that's new and updated is where they struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel bad for the dude at Alabama, DeBoer. Like, he's gonna face an uphill climb no matter what, because he gotta be perfect to replace Nick Saban. You know, and he's not gonna be able to replace Saban, no matter how you look at it. I'm gonna run through some comments real quick. Just to try to give everybody some run here. I know we missed this with Maddie. Maddie said, we saw the cherry blossoms Friday. They were stunning. Friday wasn't bad. Took us 2 hours on the metro to get there. Thankfully, I knew our way around the Smithsonian Station to get to the park. Okay. Maddie, I think you took the metro from Virginia. So I can only imagine how long that ride is, because that's like a whole gaggle of stops to get to the city. He talks about his experience yesterday at the park. Philly fans overtook Nats Park. Two, it was 65% Philly fans, kind of sad.
Mhm.
We'll get to some of that later, but Maddie, to be honest with you, I think this is the part where owners didn't make it happen, and this is why we are where we are right now. Boom.
That's
He
good.
said Japan gave us Japan gave us the cherry blossoms. China gave us COVID. Um, JoJo says Houston winning. We already hit that comment. Let's
Mhm.
see. Sam R late today. What's up, everybody?
What's up, Sam? I want to go back to something a little bit about the Maryland basketball.
Go
You
ahead.
know, the last two seasons, they've been a better than decent squad. This year, I thought they were very good. Um, right now, you see all the other teams and coaches and players working with transfer portal and NIL stuff and all that. Well, if Willard's going to Villanova, ain't nobody working on transfer portal and all that. So it's gonna have to they're gonna have to start over, is what I think, and that sucks for the program unless they got somebody in house that's going to replace him and is working on the portal and the NIL stuff right now. Maryland's going to lose out on some options, I think, in that
I,
process.
I
Of
think I think the best way to go with the state of college basketball or the state of college sports period with the NIL stuff and the transfer portal is just do what Villanova just did and find a guy that can bring people to with him. I'm not even trying to be funny. You go
No,
find
that
a
makes sense.
guy.
Yeah.
You go find a guy that is interested in Maryland that has some pull and might bring some of his kids with him.
Yeah.
And then there
that's
you
the
go. You done filled your you done filled your holes. I don't know I don't know if Queen's staying or not, but yeah,
I doubt
that's
it. I
you
doubt
you
Queen stays.
you each one reach one. You
What?
know.
Yo,
What,
BJ,
Minera?
it's funny you say that because everybody complained when Dion said, "I'm bringing my Louis with me." Now that's the reality.
Yes, sir.
Every coach now, when you leave a program, you bring your Louis with you. So the coach that was at McNeese State, that got a new job, I think at West Virginia. Guess
Yeah,
what's coming to
West
West
Virginia.
Virginia?
They're
His
gonna bring
Louis
them
bag
two
is
top,
coming with him to West Virginia.
them two
The
top
coach,
players with McNeese are coming. Yes.
the Richard Pitino, I think he left New Mexico and he got hired at Xavier. Guess what's
Bring
coming
them.
with him? His Louis
Bring them.
bag is coming with him. Like this, like you killed Dion for saying that, but this is the reality now.
Mm-hmm.
We are operating in mercenary times.
It sucks.
Get with
So
it or get left.
here's what I told my buddy has a son who's a safety down in Georgia, and his schools that he's looking at are like Liberty, Western Kentucky, and all these other type of places. And what I said to him was like, he knows it because he's very in tune with college sports. I was like, that's what he's got to eat right now because he can go there. This is like the JUCO system right now. You go to a small school for 2 years,
Yep.
they find you on their radar, then they bring you in at the big school, pay you, and then let you play for a couple years. Like the kid at Maryland, Gillespie, he was at like a small school. Your boy J.P. Toppin was at a regular a mid major, and he ended up at Texas Tech because of the money. Like this is all what we're heading into, and so now what you got to do as a coach of a high school program. Shout out to Coach Powell. Shout out to coaches like Mark Wilson. They got to start preparing their kids to. You got to take offers from smaller schools, and then move up to the bigger school after you prove yourself at the
Okay.
smaller school.
And the crazy thing is not just approving yourself basketball wise too. Now you got to prove yourself. You can stay out of trouble. You can handle the college life. You can handle because now you know these small schools aren't really the traditional small schools that we would normally call small schools. You know, these are still D1 programs out here. They're just the little guys now. And they're going to, like we talked about this before, they're going to benefit from this because you're going to get an influx of talent. You're going to get kids that instead of riding the bench for 3 years, they can go play right now. Get some money, they can go play right now. and you might can make a run with your school and stuff, but it's a lot on the kids now, man, because like I said, you have to prove yourself on all facets of the game, mentally, physically. Now you got a rap sheet on you. Do you work out? Not just out of high school, but now you're going to college. Do you work out? Are you on time to meetings? All of this is sitting right in front of these schools. When you go to these top 10 programs, they're like, and you get to Rick Pitino, he like, I ain't dealing with you. I ain't dealing with you.
All right. I don't know if I said the same comment. Congrats to the Dukes. Q Duke of Earl. JoJo. Willard carrying the kids sounds like he cats.
Cares.
There you go. Can't recruit then if going for NIL only, he can also recruit NIL monies as well. That's true. You got to build up a bank, but some places have the bank already because they don't have to share the bank, and that's the kicker right there. Thanks, Bone. It was Beamer. I don't know why his name didn't pop into my mind. Hold on, Jack. I got you. Some college fan bases think their schools should be competing for national titles and can't accept 9 wins as a damn good year. Meanwhile, I would give blood to a vampire for Kent State to just get 6 wins. Hold on. JoJo says they not going to Villanova. He's not going there. I don't know what that means, but okay. What happened to UVA basketball? The program was for a while, but the problem is, again, part of the NIL situation is why Bennett left.
That's a great say.
Here's
Bennett
the point
left
I think
all
you made.
the other old school.
Transfer portal shouldn't open up until all seasons are done. The fact football opens during the playoffs and basketball opens
ridiculous.
March Madness is stupid. Good gosh, we got a lot more comments than I thought.
Louis.
I thought Louis meant baseball bat, like Nina meant gat.
Oh my God.
Louis is a Louis bag.
Louis Vuitton, man.
Oh, let's go, Duke. Coach Powell.
What's up, Coach?
Like, you pop that trunk, let me get that Louis.
Oh, shit. Next thing you know, you're going to be talking about grabbing the stick.
Dion ain't have a degree, so he got it from JSU, the coach. I'm going to move on from Dion. Gets me mad. I don't know what that's about. Dion made the right move to go to Colorado. Colorado said, I think the famous line I remember from that setup was that Colorado signed him to a contract, and the AD says, don't worry about the money because you're going to make it. And sure enough, he made the money. And if y'all haven't heard, Dion got a 5-year extension through like 2030 or something like that from that school, paying them, I think it's 10, 10, 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah, but that contract don't mean nothing. You know, if somebody throws something else at him or NFL throws some large numbers at him, he gone.
I keep saying this on this platform. I don't think Dion cares about the NFL because
I don't think so either, but a big number would take him. Tell me it would.
But what's the big number? I mean, like right now he's at 10 and 11. So
20?
they got to be bringing him like 20. Right. I agree with you there.
You pay 20 for a lineman, you'll pay 20 for a coach.
But I think the thing with Dion and what people see Dion as the figure and not the man. That's the biggest thing he fights every day. He fights that he's the man. Dion wants to help shape these kids and get people in the right places. You know, so he's giving guys like Sapp a job, and Sapp has like whenever you watch Sapp glows when he talks about coaching kids. And when we talk to coaches like Coach Powell, Coach Wilson, all the other coaches that we've talked to,
Coach Powell
in the passenger seat, what airs on Wednesday nights on the Sideline Junkies network, 8 p.m., where we give you a look into the sports world, one interview at a time. Go ahead.
And on that, I just got confirmation of one of the biggest guests in the passenger seat history so far. I just got confirmation that Emily I may butcher this last name, Emily Messinese
Oh, our lacrosse girl.
of Navy lacrosse, midseason All-American, one of the best female lacrosse players in the country, will be coming to In the Passenger Seat soon, man. You watch me now. It's going to be awesome.
I'm sorry, BJ. We kind of.
Oh, no, y'all good.
That's going to be awesome, Midnight Rider.
That's what we do here on the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. We make things happen.
And we got to go through a process this time. First time we got to go through a process, but that's what you do when you
So
get that high profile.
We got to talk to the SIU.
Yeah, I got to get approved. And she says, if you're ever interested in the men's side of Navy lacrosse, her boyfriend's a beast. Played for USA, won gold, now in flight school. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's what's up in the Passenger Seat Sideline Junkies Podcast Network, baby. Let's get back to the show.
How do we even get back? All right, so let's let JoJo, because this is JoJo's hill, because she thinks he shouldn't have left. What you call it? And I keep trying to tell her he left for the right reasons. I remember he said he wanted to flip the table for HBCUs, our kids, and it's not about the money. He's a fraud. He lied. He didn't lie. And the reason he didn't lie is because
HBCUs got a lot of bump from him, man.
Exactly. HBCUs they actually have their own combine now, which they've never had before.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he left, he left it in a better place. Like sometimes you can't get mad. You can't get mad at the person that leaves for the opportunity, because we all want better opportunities. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's a thing of you got to measure what the goal is. And the goal for him was to get them on the map, give Black kids opportunities. He gave them both. Then he went to a school like Colorado, who in their last season, they were blown out every way down the stretch.
Every night.
And JoJo, I see you, but we're not going to go into this prime convo. We're going to put a pin in it.
Be here all day.
And one of the Sundays, when we get in the dog days of the summer, we can jump on, we can have our Dion conversation then. Because I don't want to do this today. Because we already behind on some of the other things that we want to get to. So with that being said,
what Dion did for the HBCUs in such a short time, Midnight Rider, what was he there? 3 years? 2 years?
Right.
So 3 years. And what he did for the HBCU schools in that short period of time is tremendous compared to what they were like just 5 years ago. So, I don't think he bailed on HBCU. I don't think he bailed on them.
So, JoJo, I know you comment as we go. This is what we're going to do. We're going to pin it. Boom, you too. We're going to put a pin in it, and I'm going to get a date. And
what's that?
We're going to all have everybody available. Everybody's got to be available, and we're going to talk this out. All right? So let's put it there. So let's get back, because I think we stopped because we haven't addressed the women's Final Four side yet.
Ooh. Yeah.
And I want to get there for obvious reasons, because I think last night we had TCU. TCU beat Notre Dame. And I'm trying to figure out the other game that we had last night. If anybody has it, please jump in, because I'm trying to
UConn, Oklahoma. UConn banged out Oklahoma by 23.
Okay.
Another 20-point lopsided victory in this side. It's been nothing but that on the women's side. I mean, some victories has been as big as 40 points. So I really thought it was getting down to the nitty-gritty in the Elite Eight, but we'll see.
So TCU, they play Texas next. Is that how I have it? TCU beat TCU beat Notre Dame. Texas beat Tennessee. So we have TCU and Texas playing to get to the Final Four on the 31st. Duke beat North Carolina. South Carolina beat Maryland. South Carolina, Duke play on the 30th, which is today. 1 p.m.
That's gonna be a good ball game. And I'm telling you, Maryland hung with South Carolina. I think Duke can beat them. I really do. But South Carolina's bad. They a nice squad. That's gonna be a great game. Any basketball fan should watch that game today.
USC, even with losing, they beat Kent State. UConn beat Oklahoma. So we have UConn and USC on the 31st, which is tomorrow. UCLA beats Ole Miss. LSU beats NC State, which I didn't have. And I watched that ball game. That was a good ball game. So now we have UCLA, LSU. So to recap, the women's Elite Eight is UCLA, LSU on the 30th, which is today at 3 p.m. You got USC, UConn, and USC has a young lady named Kiki. Kiki, are you with me? She definitely is, especially when Juju's out.
But UConn got Fudd and Page, boy.
Exactly. And I believe in Fudd life for sure.
Yes, sir.
South Carolina plays Duke on the 30th, 1 p.m. And then Texas plays TCU on the 31st at 7 p.m. So that's where we are with the Women's Elite Eight, getting them down to the Final Four. So Tuesday, we'll keep you up to date on that, as well as everything. With that being said, yesterday in the world of baseball, actually, you know what? I'm not going to make that transition yet. I'm going to do this. I'm going to finish out these comments because people transition with us. TCU Notre Dame, that was a great ball game. JoJo says TCU can take it all.
They can. But there's a lot of tough teams out there. USC, the other USC in South Carolina. Man, I don't know. It's good. Connecticut to win it all.
I think
says UConn's second half was crazy. They were down 6 at the half and then dominated.
Dominated.
No, I was saying I think USC runs, and if they had Juju, I think they could fight with UConn, but I think that's where USC ends with UConn.
I think UConn would have a better rebounding edge with Juju out. As far as scoring wise, I don't think USC is gonna miss Juju scoring wise. That other gal puts up 30 points too, man.
Kiki.
Yeah, that girl can score, can shoot.
Kiki.
I'm not sure what Juju's numbers were this year, but I know she's a big rebounding girl. They're gonna miss her rebounding.
J-Dub says Paige Beckers is balling for UConn. Totally agree. I think she had
Jack.
And then JoJo says SC going to beat Duke. I think that's what we got right now. Anything else before we leave the NCAA, guys? I don't want to leave any thought or any stone unturned.
I'm good.
Okay. With that being said, oh geez, what did I do? All right, here we go. Yesterday in the world of baseball, we came to a very crucial point. Yesterday, the world had to deal with Judgment Day. And when I say Judgment Day, I mean Aaron Judge. He had a day of all days. I think he was 4 for 5 at the plate. He had 3 home runs. He had 8 RBIs. The Yankees also decided to turn this mother out. Shout out to MC Hammer. They came out and had 3 home runs on the first pitch of every at-bat to open the ball game. And the last time that happened was like 1957. The other time it happened was 1925. The Yankees came out swinging bats. They were chewing bubble gum and hitting home runs, and unfortunately, they were all out of bubble gum. And they won big. I think they won 20-6 against the Brewers last night in their ball game. I don't want to talk just about that because I know Jack's got to talk about the O's because the O's offense has been exploding the first 2 days of the season. The Nats bullpen has been imploding the first 2 ball games of the season. With that being said, gentlemen, I'm just going to open the floor to you two. And I'm going to sit back for a little bit and let you talk baseball, and then I'll jump in at the end of this to give my thoughts.
You're exactly right there, Midnight Rider. Birds came out hot. Scored 12 in their first game, scored 9 in their third game, got 10 home runs through 3 games. You got sticks in the lineup like Cedric Mullins, Jordan Westberg, Colton Cowser, Adley Rushman. All of them got homers in the first couple games, man. Mullins, Cowser, Rutschman, they all have multiple home runs. I want to say Cowser's got 3 home runs in 3 games. He hit 2 in one and 1 in the other. But the Birds, as I said in my report, it's going to rely on their starting pitching. But with bats like this, I'd go out there and get on the bump, man. I'm telling you, they're going to be a very high-scoring offense this year as long as they stay healthy. That's what I got on the Birds. You checking that out, BJ?
A little bit. I think the reason they've got ousted from the playoffs is pitching. So it just kind of
Yes, sir.
concerns me just a little bit. It's early. I know it's early, but I would like to see that tighten up. I think offense is a given for them. We know they got the bats. They're young. Like Jack just said, they got to stay healthy. If they can stay healthy, they got a chance to win the AL East. But did they do enough in the off season to kind of correct the pitching woes? Because we all know once playoff baseball starts and you ain't got those arms, the bats don't matter. The Yankees show you that year in and year out. They got bats galore. You ain't got them pitchers to help keep things under wrap. It's a wrap for you.
Yeah, but I tell you, Baltimore is they're not done making moves. I think you're going to see some in-season moves. Hell of a farm system. We got plenty of pawns to move around if we need to. We got a couple of the highest rated farm prospects in the league.
I think they've turned that into one of the best farm systems in the league. It's a great turnaround. It's great to see because it's like whoever they plug out becomes a star. Comes up here and just balls out. I love to see it.
Yeah, well, it happens like that. That's how when you see your young stars really flood a team, you know they got a good farm system and great draft picks. That happened to Tampa Bay 10 years back or so. They had all these nice draft picks and had a sweet farm system and doing homegrown. And I like homegrown. Getting guys in trade and everything, that's cool. But you see them come through the farm system and have their struggles or have their success. It's pretty awesome like that. So the Birds got plenty of horses in the stable if they got to make some moves to get probably starting pitching. Let's see how Rodriguez and the other guys heal up. I expect Rodriguez to be out a short time. I don't know about Rodriguez pitched last night. They got another pitcher down, so I don't know how long they're going to be out, but I expect to see Rodriguez back in 2 weeks at the longest.
Jack, you said something, and you said something about health, and I'm still a line from the great Dwayne Johnson. It doesn't matter. The way this team is stacked in their farm system, they can lose a person, and they have another person ready and able to step up. Now, it may not be the same quality, but you're going to get – this is the O's are at a place where they have a glutton of talent. And like you said, they can make moves and maybe acquire a pitcher. I thought they should have been heavy in the Garrett Crochet trade market. I thought they should have been in a couple markets for starting pitchers during the offseason.
Yeah.
And they weren't. But I think the O's are offensively – what I saw the last 2 days, the 12 against Toronto, the 9 last night against Toronto, they getting it from everybody. And Cowser, who was one of my guys I was telling you to look out for, Cowser's right on point and right on time. I forgot about Westberg.
Well, you want to hear a little tidbit about Westberg from yesterday's game?
Go ahead.
He went 4 for 5 in yesterday's game with 2 home runs and 2 infield singles. That's a good combo. He He is fast as get out, man.
Quick ranking of the Baltimore Orioles farm system. This year they ranked 17th. The reason why they ranked 17th this year is
Because they're up.
because they promoted
Right.
Mayo,
Mhm.
Basallo, Holiday,
Right.
Cowser, Westberg, or they promoted all these guys. 24 they were first, 23 they were first, 22 they were fourth, 2021 they were seventh, and 20 they were 12th. So it just tells you what they've been building, what they've been brewing the last 5 years in that farm system. So because they promoted all these guys, they've dropped to 17th. This is per Baseball America's ranking of each team's farm system. Right now, they have the Boston Red Sox #1
Yes.
Yep.
as far as
By
farm
far.
system.
By far.
I'm trying
Jack
to.
mentioned that on our baseball preview.
No
And when
doubt.
I went to go do research to check up behind them, yeah, the Red
Spot
Sox
on,
are in a
wasn't it?
great place.
Well,
Nationals are 14th.
Yeah, but that's also the Baltimore effect where you got Wood, Cruz, and
yep.
all those guys up now. So the scary part about the Nats, and it's not even scary, it's the good part, is they have Hassel, they got this kid Pinckney, they've got a kid Brad Lord who's in the bullpen right now who should be a starter. They got Cade Cavalli who's coming off of arm surgery who should be up. They got a list of guys that when this group is like as the season is going along, you're gonna start seeing names introduced that you weren't hearing and weren't expecting.
Well, but I know you're saying they're ranked 14th and 17th, I believe you said respectively. Yeah, that's the ranking right now. And that's after all teams have put the best of their young guys up to the big leagues. But that ranking will change as the year goes because the guys that are moved up to the club, that's giving the other young prospects more time. So once they start producing and playing their minor league season, those rankings can change. So seeing them before the season or, I don't even think minor leagues have started yet.
You got another week, I think, before the minors start.
Right.
And,
so those rankings
quick,
right now don't mean much.
Real quick, for the Nats, a name to look out for is a kid they picked up Rule 5 last year. He's a dynamic defensive player, Nasim Nunez. If Nasim Nunez can find a bat and occasionally put the bat to a baseball, 200, was it? I think if you hit 250, if this kid can actually hit 250, he's going to be in the majors somewhere. And he might not be here in Washington, but he's going to be in the major leagues because the way his glove is elite.
Where does he play?
He plays shortstop. So unfortunately, he's blocked by Abrams. He can play second, but of course he's blocked by Garcia.
Yeah.
And then he plays a little third, and he's blocked by. Well, he's not blocked by Young, but of course the person that's supposed to make third is House. So that's how that plays out.
Got you.
I'm gonna hit comments, and then I'm gonna come back to you guys real quick on some other stuff. JoJo says our Nationals bullpen is killing us. Yes, JoJo, but that's also a byproduct of them not putting resources into the squad. So they pick scraps, and then the scraps are being scraps.
Yep.
You can't help that.
Pitching
so like since we were talking about Louis bags, unfortunately the Nats decided to bring their Lou, not their Louis, with them. If you want to take it that way, they got something off the street.
LuLaRoe.
Yeah, exactly. They got Louis Benton, not Louis Vuitton. That's how the Nats are rolling. Maddie says something to the story of these Yankees bats and how they are making them.
I didn't look into that yet. I read something about Yankee bats too. What's going on?
I don't know yet. I got to get to that.
I just saw it
and JoJo, we said the Nats system ranks 14. But again, that's because Wood, Young, Cruz, Ferreira, all those guys are up now, so they come out of that pool to be counted as part of the prospects or the people the Nats have, just like the Orioles with Westberg and all those guys come out of the system to be considered top of the line. With that being said, Anything we got to clear up the rest of this baseball stuff, or are we good, Jack and B?
I think
Yeah,
we're
no.
good. I've read up on the Yankees bat thing. I don't understand it because I'm not a baseball guy. So I'm gonna leave that to y'all.
All
Yeah, I
right,
just
so I
haven't had
haven't
time.
seen that. So I'll come out when we get a chance, or when I get a chance. Um, I'll look into it, and then maybe Tuesday night we'll have something on that.
Sure.
Um, with that being said, we bring you to the portion of the show where it's KG's bright idea to do a mock draft in the reverse order.
Mhm.
And with that being said, we are on the clock. Somebody cue the ESPN dun 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 or however that little sounder goes for the draft. Um, we start this mock. Y'all did that in unison. That's the funniest part about this.
Best I can do, bro.
Um, we start at number 23 with the Green Bay Packers. We have their needs on the board. The needs are a cornerback, an edge rusher, a defensive tackle, center, and a wide receiver. Um, let's see. The expert, and when we do, or when I do mock drafts, the only expert that I will allow into this conversation is Daniel Jeremiah. I don't care about Mel Kiper.
You ain't a male
So,
guy?
so at 23, he has Maxwell Hairston, Kentucky cornerback junior, uh, in this pick. It makes sense because they lose the what's Alexander. JoJo's about to probably go crazy here because this is her portion of the conversation. Um, but I know they're trying to move away from Jameer Alexander, so a corner makes sense for them. So what I want to do, guys, is like we can, if you have a prospect in any of these spots, let's kind of talk about them and go through this because we're going to talk about the same prospects for probably these 4 picks over and over again, because these teams have similar likes and needs. Jack, any thoughts on 23 Green Bay?
23. I think Green Bay is going to try to shore that defensive line up and pick up that kid from Oregon, Derek Harmon. I think he plays big. He plays long. He's got a lot of length to him, and he's very athletic for a big guy. So I like Derek Harmon to Green Bay to try and tighten up that offense. I'm sorry, defense.
Right. Is there anybody else you can think of? Let's give them a couple options, because we're not actually making a pick here.
Well, the boy, I got another boy further down the board that could probably do this if he isn't taken, and that's the boy from Michigan, the D tackle from Michigan, Grant. That's a big boy. He's
Yeah.
330 plus. Uh, and you know, that's the only other guy I think could substitute, but I like him being drafted at Pittsburgh, and I'll explain why when we get to there.
Okay. So corner, I think Harrison is a good pick. Edge, I think the kid from Boston College that we can't pronounce his last. Oh, I'm sorry. What am I doing? BJ, go.
I just had I got Barron, the cornerback from Texas, and I'm going off of I try to have a couple of them up and go with what makes sense. So I'm this is from Fox Sports. Jade Barron from the
Yes.
cornerback from Texas.
Yes.
I'm with Midnight Ride. I think you got a couple holes there. You're not gonna feel you try to pick the best
Mm-hmm.
available, and if you can get a corner that can, like I said, at this particular right here first round, you want somebody that can make an impact as soon as they step on the field.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they I think that would help them.
No, I
Um,
agree. I agree with you, BJ. But I think they need to jump on a big interior lineman, and there'll possibly be a cornerback available, guys, on their next pick. Is what I would think. But I see both of you guys go cornerback, and that's one of their needs. So I think we're all pretty spot on.
it
So
and it,
I
and it,
think
I think it's one of those things. If you pick the lineman now, what quality of corner is ready in the second round? Is that a guy that is going to be ready to step on the field now? and help compete, or is this a guy that's going to have to need some time, or can you get the corner now? And is the depth for the defensive linemen and the middle guys deeper where you can still get a guy that can still play maybe 40-50% of snaps and still help your team? 'Cause I think it just depends on how deep the cornerbacks and then the defensive linemen are, where you can get this guy on the field to give you an impact right now. Or is this guy somebody that needs some work? Is this guy Kyer Elam? Is that what you're drafting? You know, yeah, you have to. It just
I knew that
depends.
was coming. I knew
Yeah,
that.
all right, it's gonna come. It's gonna come, ladies and gentlemen. If you watch that AFC Championship game and you watch that first round pick Kyer Elam get ate up, is that what you're drafting? You gotta be careful.
So I'm gonna try to go a different route because I know you guys gave picks. So corner wise, I like Hairston at this spot, and I like Barron, but I don't think Barron, because when we get to these other picks, we're gonna say Barron's name a couple more times when we go from the Buccaneers, from the Seahawks to where we are now. So I think it's gonna be a war of attrition before we get to that. Jack, it's so funny because when you started your conversation, I already knew where you were going. On the defensive tackle, Derek Harmon.
Mm-hmm.
I was already there. I almost wanted to stop you. It's like Jack's going to say Derek Harmon. Like I knew where you were going because we've done this show enough that I kind of know where your mind works. The other people I think that are options for them. So we took care of corner and D tackles. So corner Harrison or Barron for BJ. D tackle we took care of Harmon. For wide receiver, I'm thinking either the Ohio State kid, Abuka, or Luther
He ain't
Burden.
gonna be there. Abuka ain't gonna be there.
Jack, I don't think. Again, remember what I started this with. We're in a situation where there's 5 teams with similar likes and needs. So
Okay.
I don't. It's going to be a thing of attrition. And
Somebody's going to take Abuka if they need him or not.
I think this is a spot where Luther Burden might be an option as the other receiver, because one of those two, or maybe both of those two, go in this next set of picks that we're talking about. In terms of center, I think the North Dakota State kid, Gray Zabel, is an option also in this scenario because he can play anywhere from tackle to center, but I think he's going to be a center or guard. Like the last kid that came out last year with no teeth. Can't think of his name. I apologize for that. But, yeah. So that's where I think we are in that regard. So with that being said, BJ had – who'd you have, B?
Barron from Texas, a cornerback.
So BJ has Barron from Texas.
Yeah.
Jack has Harmon from Oregon. If I had to make the pick myself, I think I'm going Barron if he makes it through. But I don't think he makes it through. I think Barron is going to get somewhere in that 15 to 17 range. I think somebody's actually going to trade up for him. But we don't do trades and we don't do what ifs. We just do what we think. And with that being said, on the clock, the Los Angeles, do I call them the Superchargers even though they're in Los Angeles?
Nah, I don't like that.
All right, so the Los Angeles Chargers are next on the clock.
Somebody else called them Superchargers.
Their needs are D tackle, edge rusher, center, safety, tight end.
Dang.
Jack Clark.
Yeah. Thought I saw a wide receiver on that wish list. Apparently it's not.
Did I miss that? I mean, I might have missed it. So
no, I got it right here too in front of me, bud. On my draft.
But I think they could take a wide receiver.
And I got him taking one. Gonna go with that boy from Texas, Matthew Golden. Stellar route runner. I think he would pair real nice with McConkey. He's a big playmaker and he's fast. Ran a 4.29 at the combine. I like Matthew Golden a lot. Whoever gets him is getting a playmaker. And Texas football puts out some good ball players. So watch out for Matthew Golden. That's who I got going to the Chargers, man. They're gonna increase their offensive potency, is what I
Yes, sir.
think they're gonna do. I think they're still gonna work on their defense further down the draft, but I think they want to get the biggest home run hitter they can get at this point in the draft at the 22 spot. So I think Golden's that guy. What you got, B?
BJ.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm looking. Who are we on?
The
The
Chargers.
Chargers, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh man. I think I'm leaning with Jack. I think it's offense.
A wide receiver, a tight end, I think.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. I'm thinking Golden or Loveland.
Here we go.
Oh, I like Loveland.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know which way you go. You got to give Justin Herbert another target. I guess
No.
you go Loveland.
No.
I go Loveland.
No. This is the part. This is the reason I said this string of picks right here that we're at. These teams all have like mindsets in terms of what they need. So we're gonna say Colston Loveland multiple. Well, I will say it multiple times because I think he can fit anywhere in the teams in front of the Chargers. So it's kind of a thing of will he make it there? Will he get there? Jack said the receiver Golden, and again, another situation where I've been around Jack way too long. I knew that's where he was going when you started this.
You didn't know that.
So that's another good spot for this kid. I'm gonna go through what I think on each position. I think if the Tennessee kid James Pierce is on the board, that's a good spot to replace Joey Bosa for this team. So that's where the edge need gets taken care of.
Yeah. I thought about that.
Jack talked about the kid from Oregon on pick 23 for Green Bay, but I can see him here because the Chargers have a need at D tackle as well.
Mm-hmm.
Center, I don't think Zabel fits the Charger mindset. So I'm gonna take him out of the equation here. The next name I think about at safety is the kid Nick Emma Wari, who's the safety from South Carolina. If he's not off the board already, this is probably the last place he goes. And I say that because if you can pin him with Derwin James, you got two of the best safeties in the world, Craig. In the world,
Craig.
So that's why I like this. And then I can't remember who said it. I think it was BJ that said Colston Loveland. Colston Loveland is going to be mentioned a lot in this section because I think for a receiving tight end, I think Warren's the more physical one, but I think he's the better receiver. So I think he can recreate what Brock Bowers did this past season with the Raiders more so than Tyler Warren can, because I think he's a receiving threat. And with that being said, we move on to pick 21, which has the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their needs are quarterback, cornerback, running back, wide receiver, tackle.
I'm gonna mess a lot of people up with this. Go ahead, Jack.
Tackle, right?
Offensive tackle.
Damn, man, I can't read my own shit. I got a D tackle on mine, but okay.
All right, go what you pick.
Over in Pittsburgh, as I say it, Pittsburgh, they got a D line that's getting old.
There you go.
And I like Kenneth Grant from Michigan. Big boy, 330 pounds. He'll fill a big role with Haywood. You know, he's 36 now. My man's probably about ready to start booking reservations to Costa Rica. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So I like Kenneth Grant to come into Pittsburgh to like I say, Hayward's still holding his own. I give him that because I thought Hayward was done 4 years ago, but he keeps coming up and coming up. And it's the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I don't like the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I like Hayward, man. He's a stud. So I think they're gonna bring in another guy just like Hayward to come in there.
Boss.
That's what I got.
Yeah, and I said it because we talked about Grant when we first started doing this, and if he comes off the board here, that kind of scrambles some of the picks we made before. But I like that pick there. Like Jack said, Cam is turning 36, and they have to address the defensive line. The other thing I would go here, it might be a long shot, but I don't know if he's there that long. But does Jackson Dart maybe sitting here if they don't get Aaron Rodgers? Even if they do get Aaron Rodgers is a 1-year plug. That's not a long term thing. The address quarterback here. If you believe in this kid and you think he can fit into the Steel City, you pick him here.
Yeah, I forgot where Hayward didn't make it. He made his plans for Puerto Rico.
Oh,
That's where he made him. It wasn't Costa Rica. It's Puerto Rico.
oh,
My boys. I tried to throw a bit in there and messed it up.
No, you didn't. You're good, baby. This is why I love doing this group with you guys, because you guys are on point. So, Jack, you said Grant.
Yeah, I like him.
May not have Grant in this spot. I know we talked about him later, but he's an explosive D tackle, and your reasoning is spot on. Like, I'm a person that believes in you lay your talent, and if you're not replacing the guy that year, you're replacing him the next year. So you're taking care of business ahead of time. I love that. BJ brought up Jackson Dart, and I've seen Jackson Dart on many people's polls, many people's lists.
I think he's senior.
That's Jack's guy. I think Jack had him number 2.
He's probably going to be the third quarterback off the board.
He will be, but I'm just saying.
Not this late, though.
Huh?
I don't think he'll be this late. I don't think he'll be here for Pittsburgh.
You think Jackson Dart's going in the top 15?
Yeah. 18.
So you think in New Orleans? It's either New Orleans or the Raiders.
Why not? Either one.
Okay. All right. I smell what you're cooking. So
18 or sooner, should I say. I don't think he'll be here at 21. I mean, Pittsburgh could use him. Hell yeah. But I don't think he'll be there. I think Pittsburgh going to get one of them quarterbacks further down the line. Number 5, number 6.
In terms of players available, I think there's an odd guy. I guess he's not showing now, so maybe he doesn't fall. But I was concerned about the cornerback from Michigan maybe falling, but I see he's in the top 10. So maybe he doesn't fall this far. But corner, I don't think Pittsburgh's going to take a corner this early. Running back, I think this is a spot where the kid Amarian Hampton from North Carolina, he's built similar to Najee Harris, but he's more explosive.
Oh, at Pittsburgh, huh?
I think he can go here.
What's his name?
Amarian Hampton.
UNC, yeah.
Yeah, I compare him, like when I do my comparisons, I compare him to Arian Foster.
Okay.
He's a tall running back, but when he glides more than he runs. Receiver-wise, I wouldn't be surprised because the name I keep hearing of a kid that might fall is the kid from Arizona, Tatorian McMillan. I've heard him falling in a lot of drafts lately. I don't know if it's going to happen or not because we're in lion season, but it's a possibility he's the guy that falls in this place. And then in terms of tackle, if Pittsburgh believes in the kid from Ohio State, Josh Simmons, this is about where he may go. He's coming off an injury, but he has elite tackle prospects. I just don't know if he gets taken this early because of the injury history with him.
Got you.
So if you guys haven't paid attention, I'm gonna let B and Jack give you the exact person. I'm gonna try to give you somebody for each one of the needs, and that's how we doing this today.
Got you.
With that being said, next on the clock, the Denver Broncos. Broncos need tight end, wide receiver, linebacker, safety, and defensive tackle. And we're about to spit some names over again.
Yeah, but they also need something else over there. Javonte Williams left for Dallas. So I like Denver taking your boy from Carolina, Omarion Hampton, to help them out with their running back needs. 1,600 yards last year, 38 receptions out of the backfield. He's a 3-down starter. He's a 3-down back, and he's got home run speed. So, and like Midnight Rider said, he's a tall running back. He glides. Reminds me a little bit of Dickerson.
I think if he had the only reason I wouldn't use Dickerson, because I don't think he has the elite track speed. I think he has speed, but he ain't. I think he's quick than fast, and that's why I say Foster. But that's my analysis. I like where you're thinking that though, because it makes
Denver. Sense. Denver's a perfect spot for him.
True, totally. Boss.
I had McMillan here, the wide receiver from Arizona, but I'm trying to dig and see if the things he was saying was true about him not watching tape.
Don't worry about that part. I think this is the spot where this is his basement. I think this is the lowest he falls in this list.
I think it'll go sooner.
I put a lot of trust in when I listen to people talk receivers. I listen to Steve Smith a lot because I think he's spot on when he does his things. And this kid, for some reason, doesn't resonate with Steve Smith. So I think he's going to have a fall because he's kind of a number one, but he's not really a number one. You know how your voice has to go high because you're not sure? That's what I'm doing right there with him. It's like, I just don't know. But Denver likes tall wide receivers because they have Cortland Sutton there right now. So he could be either the replacement for Cortland or he could be on the other side. And then they figure out the slot receiver to get somebody to boogie in the middle.
Yeah. Midnight Rider. Can I respond to JoJo's last comment?
What I'll do is I'll do you one better, Jack.
I know there's a lot of comments, JoJo. We're gonna try, but we can't read them all.
So no, let's go. Let's do it like this. Let's hit this one. The bats like torpedoes. They are legal. Judge doesn't use it. All right. That's the last thing about the Yanks.
I look forward to looking into that bat situation.
She says pass rusher best available, and I like that. I think the pass rushers. This is like a situation where either somebody's going to drop into your lap because of a run on something else, or I don't think pass rusher at what are they 23?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a big difference between the 23rd pass rusher and the pass rusher they get in the second round. So I think that's why I didn't go pass rusher or think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Mel is trash. I wouldn't say that. I think Mel is fed information to help guys out throughout the course of the process.
Right. Is she talking about Kuiper?
Yeah.
Mel's pay to play.
Yeah. Because I think he helped Will Levis get drafted early than he was supposed to. Jair is still on the roster. We trying to construct some things, but he stayed hurt. I think the first person that says they want Jair, y'all sending them to him because no. And then she says we need a pass rusher no matter what, how good that corner. But for us, if you can't get to the QB in the playoffs, we're going home again. And we get it, but Joe, you got to understand this draft is built and laid with talent. And once your spot you're in is 23. Mm-hmm. And everything I hear, and I hear it every year, is from 20 to 62, you can get the same person depending on your preferences.
There's a few sleepers in there.
There's definitely, and that's why we do this. But I think also there's some guys that, if you don't take the Boston College kid, you can get the Marshall kid. There's guys that Green is the Marshall kid.
Yeah,
I think there are guys that are like you can kind of replace it. It just depends on what you want. We was winning without the corner. The pass rush was killing us last year. That's facts. I hear you.
And that's true, JoJo. That's true. But I tell you, we got Lattimore, and I think we're going to get a corner in this draft. And
I disagree.
The pass rush is going to, a good pass rush can make a shitty cornerback group look good.
Yes.
When quarterbacks are throwing the ball off timing or being rushed instead of having time to sit there, and it's impossible to check a receiver with no pass rush. So pass rush is a big thing, JoJo. You're correct.
So like Green Bay in the second round, I can see them possibly taking a kid like the kid from Arkansas, Landon Jackson. He's a dog. I just don't see him as a first round guy. I see him as a second round guy. So that might be where they go. And that's why we think they can go corner. Again, when we do this, Jack B give you their picks. I give you options on every one of your needs. So that's why.
How many picks Washington got? 5 right now?
Yes, we have 5 right now.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him bump out the first round, to tell you the honest truth.
I would love for them to do that, but I just worry. I worry from, again, the talent standpoint. I don't know. We got to have a team that is Beyonce crazy in love with a pick to trade up into 29 to get a guy so they can have him either on a 5-year deal or somebody that they can keep in house that they really love, and maybe not everybody else is on that same page. That's what we want to need.
I wouldn't be surprised if from 22 to 32, if there wasn't 3 or 4 trades in there, maybe more.
Jack, you're smelling what the rock is cooking, baby.
Maybe more. Because Green Bay, Minnesota. Houston ain't gonna trade theirs. They're gonna try to get what they can get, unless they can trade up. The Rams, they're fine. Baltimore's gonna stay there. Detroit's probably gonna stay there. Washington may trade. Buffalo may trade.
Philly, I wouldn't be so set on Detroit. And the reason I wouldn't be so set on Detroit has the wide receivers, the running backs. They're set on offensive side, tight end and all that. On the defensive side, they need edge and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they can be comfortable enough where if somebody else wants like a corner, a safety, wide receiver, whatever, they can fall back and then they can get the same tackle or similar like product later on.
It's possible.
No, but I like what you're thinking, baby.
I wouldn't be surprised though. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens in that last 9 to 10 picks.
I totally agree with you. And with that being said, we're on number 19, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Bucks. The Bucks. Over Tampa Bay, I'm really excited to see Baker Mayfield 2025. I really am. The year Baker had last year shows how he can just battle through adversity and wait and be patient until that situation finally hits him. He was in some tough situations early in his career, and it made it look like he wasn't the quarterback he's predicted to be. But I tell you, you ain't going to find a more of a gamer quarterback than Baker Mayfield. So I think they're going to go linebacker in this 19th pick. They're going to get the boy from Alabama, Jahad Campbell. He can play off the ball. He can play edge. Tampa Bay needs to improve their defense because they had some high-scoring games last year where it was last one to score wins type of games. And fortunate for Tampa Bay, they was on the winning side of more than they lost in that situation. But you see what happened to Cincinnati with that high scoring offense and a lack of defense. So I think Tampa Bay needs to tighten up their defense a little bit to stop all these shootouts they have to get into.
Boss man.
I agree with Jack. I got Campbell or the edge rusher from Boston College with that unpronounceable last name.
That's why I didn't pick him.
Either one. I think they definitely have to address the defense. You can't score 32 and allow 36. It's a formula for losing.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, it definitely isn't. So you got to tighten up defensively. I think they prove when they're rolling and Baker's rolling, they got what they need on offense.
Mm-hmm.
I think this on for me is a spot where if the kid McMillan is on the board, I think this is a good spot for him because then he becomes the replacement for Mike Evans. And if KG was here, he would say that Evans could tutor this kid and get him on the right page to do things and be a player in this league. Another name would be interesting is if they can get. Go ahead, Jack.
Where did Mike Evans go? Did he go to LA?
No, Mike Evans is in Tampa, but his college was Texas A&M.
Oh, I thought he left. I thought you said he left.
No. I'm just saying this is where we talk about layering talent.
Okay, I didn't think he left.
He's a tall receiver. He's similar in build. This is like mine quality parts here. And again, when we talk types, because I always talk types, this is where you replace your type.
Got you.
With that being said, so that's the wide receiver. Guard, there's a kid out of Alabama, Tyler Booker, who's gonna get mentioned probably at 19, 18, probably 16. He's gonna get mentioned in this spot all the way up to 12, probably. He's a kid that if he falls, he's gonna be here. I think Tampa Bay runs the card to the thing. I love what you and Jack were thinking with the Campbell kid because he's a Todd Bowles type of linebacker. Again, back to our thing about type. He fits their type. I think in terms of defensive ends, a kid like Jalen Walker out of Georgia, he might be in this space. He's listed as a linebacker, but I think he can play edge. So I think he's another person that if you want to dance with the devil in the pale moonlight, this is the best time to do it.
Oh, man.
In terms of tackles, I don't have the only tackle. I really don't have a tackle for them at 19. I don't think they go tackle. I think they take care of one of the first four spots on this list before anything else. And then, you know what, Jack? Let's skip 18 to next week because we're at 153.
Yeah, cool. I ain't never get it.
So with that being said, let's get to the closeout of the Sideline Junkie Sunday Rise. Is what are you eating? Jack Carr started off.
We're having some fish with some rice. I think it's just like a tilapia or something. My wife's gonna splash some juice, lemon juice, some Old Bay or something on there. And I think we're gonna have some broccoli and carrots. I know I am anyway. I love broccoli and carrots. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Fish dinner today. What about you, BJ? What you grubbing on?
Like I said, fellas, I'm still in that sick protocol, so it's gonna be light today. I was just texting the wife. I think it's just gonna be some fruit today. It's that bad. It's that bad.
Ooh. So by the time we see you, you're gonna look emaciated. You're gonna be like 110 pounds.
You're gonna be like Mookie Betts.
It's already coming off.
That's a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's not natural, but yeah, it sounds like that. For me, I went back to the well. We doing the split chicken breast. I got 4 of them. I'm gonna lay out and do over a bed of rice today. I did last week. I did over potatoes, fried potatoes. This week I'm gonna do over a bed of rice with some. I think I'm gonna add some diced tomatoes to it to give it a little extra kick. and that's my dinner tonight. My lunch, I think I'm doing my leftover Silvestre. Like I don't.
What'd you get from there?
So Silvestre does this fajita thing.
Oh
It's like
yeah.
it's the chicken and steak, but if you get extra chicken, I don't think they understand. Like some places, like if you go to Chipotle, you cry about them not giving you enough food. Well, you go to Silvestre, I think their problem is they give you way too much. Like I don't think I put a dent in the box. I had 2 meals off of what they gave me yesterday, and the box was still heavy. Um, and probably I'm gonna have lunch off of that today, so that way I ain't got to worry about the chicken. But dude, Silvestre's, I'm telling you, I don't know if it's Silvestre, however you want to call it. They feed you. They
Yeah, I
make
gotta
sure
check
it's
that
good.
place out.
And then the only thing I gotta do is remember to order on the side an extra mild sauce, um, to complete
We
my menu.
meet we meeting next Saturday at Silvestre's. All right, fellas, all four of us
They
ready,
don't
great.
have a. I'm trying to think of where their dining spot is.
We go to the park.
I ain't going to no park with no dudes.
Oh man. We'll go to the cherry blossoms.
Nah, I'm definitely not going to Cherry Blossoms. Nah, let's do steak. Let's do cheesesteaks next week. Let's try to do if we can do it.
But my bet ain't done
Let's try
yet,
to do
so
Nah, I mean that way we ain't gotta do
let's
you
get
pay,
up.
he pay.
Let's get up before I tell our viewers what's the deal.
All right.
I work with 3 robots, everybody. I think KG and Boss Man and Midnight Rider are bots.
Well,
I ain't never met them.
I'm the prettiest bot in the world, baby. But without being said, hold on. Let me get to the comment and then we out of here. Last comment is by Miss V. She said, "Good job, great information."
Thank you, Miss V.
Um,
And I got a little promotion here.
Go
We're
ahead.
gonna Wednesday night in the passenger seat right now. Schedule's been a little janky, but I believe I got a reschedule of Coach Jeff Ricker. Played
Okay.
ball at St. John's, coached at DeMatha and Patuxent. But I got some more news. I've been yesterday, last night, I've been trolling for some guests. Like I say, if you got anybody you think might be interested in doing in the passenger seat with Midnight Rider and myself, just shoot us a DM or a text. And yes, sir.
I want to take this time to actually acknowledge. That's why I put the 1 in the air, even though you can't see it because of the way my background's set up. But I gotta acknowledge Bossman B for setting us up with the Thursday night guest, Coach Devon Powell. He was amazing. He's been in the comments. I love the activity from him, but also love the moment that we actually got to know him a little bit better. And that's part of what the show is. You know, I think sometimes you undersell what you talk about as your theme, and the reason for the show is we're going to take you through a journey, a sports journey, one interview at a time.
Take you
And
on a ride.
and I can't keep emphasizing that enough. When we deal with a Coach Powell, when we deal with the young man Cameron Ramsey, when we
Carson.
deal with these people, we're taking you through a journey. You know, we're talking about this kid playing hockey at 5. You know, he realized that he wasn't a great skater, so he became a goalie at 8 or 9, and he's played goalie, and he's now, you know, on one of the top national teams going to nationals. You don't get that everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
No.
We talk to people about people, and we like to invest in people. You know, the reason our baseball show had Jamie Myrick was because we interviewed her about the polar plunge, but she's a sports fan. So she came on to talk sports with us. That's what we do. We're investing in people to give people opportunities to do something they love. Everybody loves to talk sports, but they don't always have the platform. And in the
Correct.
past, you can get interviewed and then come back and then talk to us as a fan and get whatever you think out in one of our formats.
Right. No, that's definitely right. I mean, we talk sports, we get into life. We've talked about mental health. We've talked about homesickness,
Yes.
you know, college, We talk about all kind of stuff, and we get young and old. Like I put in my post the other day, we're going to interview people from back in the day, and we're going to interview people that are laying it down today. I've got a couple more young sports fans scheduled coming up. I actually got a 12-year-old dirt bike racer going to come on there with his grandfather and talk to us. Only reason I'm going to have his grandfather there is just 12-year-old. That's a little young. I'm going to have the grandfather there to help out with information and whatnot. But I just got another major text. I'll tell you, man, we're going to blow up on some lacrosse here, Midnight Rider. We're going to be lacrosse kings by the time we get done. I just got a text that confirmed I got Dan LaMonica from Maryland Lacrosse, 2-time All-American at Maryland Lacrosse.
I actually know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he lives over here on the island. He's dating a friend of mine. He's got Maryland records. I think he might even have some NCAA records, but I'm gonna hold off till I see his bio.
Did you tell him you were a Duke fan?
No.
Okay, that would have been the killer right there.
Yeah, I don't think I've only met him twice. I don't think I had Duke gear on. I met him at the Ken Island spring baseball meeting last year, and then I met him again. I don't. Yeah, I think by that time Duke was up. So, but hey, he's a cool cat. He's probably y'all's age, maybe a little younger, but yep, I'm psyched. I got 2 All-Americans coming on my show now. Our show.
It's just your show.
Our show, guys. Excuse me. I'm just excited as hell.
In the passenger seat is Jack's show.
Emily?
Yeah, it's Jack Carr, all about Jack Carr. With Jack Carr doing Jack Carr things.
Me.
Sponsored by the Duke Blue Devils.
But we got, like I say, I'm going to learn how to say her last name. Emily Mezzanise. She's right now.
So Jack, just heads up, and this might be post-show thing. We're probably going to have to give them a list of questions or kind of where we want to talk to her about. So that way the SID approves her getting interviewed.
I'm curious. Yeah, I'm not contacting them. She's going to relay the information to them and get the approval. So I'm probably going to buzz her this afternoon. Check, or at least, shoot her a text, see what she's up to today. College athlete. I'm sure she's very busy, but awesome. She said she could make time to come be on our show. Like I say, we have men, women, young, old, sports athlete, coach, official, sports fan. We got all kind of a variety on that show, and I'm loving it. We're coming close to our 25th episode here shortly, so man, the viewerships have just been blowing up everywhere. It's been a great run, guys. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm enjoying the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network, period.
All right, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have any other last thoughts.
Go Duke.
Boss man.
I'm good. Y'all enjoy y'all day.
Everybody.
Get well, B.
I was going to say, first and foremost, number 1,
Orange
get well, boss man. 2, KG. I know you out there. I'm surprised that you or your account, your other account, didn't make a comment today. 3, for Matty Ice, hug your loved ones, tell them you love them. 4, for the Midnight Rider, I just say, enjoy what you do what you love, be special, have fun, and enjoy every moment you have, because the moment that's next isn't promised, and that's kind of like Mighty Ice's thing. And with that being said, we are the Sideline Junkies. This is the Sunday Rise. Everyone have a great week. Enjoy your time. J-Dub, I see your comment. Thank you. Same to you, brother. With that said, peace and good night.